Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome to today's video. I am so excited to share with you the message that I have for you today. It actually came through when I was on my walk this morning. And so if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Melissa, and this is the Sacredness Within You. I'm an intuitive coach and guide along with a Reiki master, and so I'm just here to help you really rediscover that sacredness that's within you to help you step into your power, align to your heart's desires, and really create the life that you came here to live while healing the inner feminine within all of us and the collective as well. And so I'm really happy that this message came through in the way that it did today. But before I get into this message, I want to share a little bit of backstory. Because as souls, we know that we are abundant, and we really don't need to do anything to receive this abundance. And when we come into planet Earth, we decide to incarnate into families and situations to experience things. And many of us have beliefs and conditionings around how we can receive money, when we can receive money, how much we can receive money, and just really the list goes on. And for me, I chose to incarnate into a family where we experience poverty consciousness. And my whole life, up until recently, I always thought that my poverty consciousness really came from my dad's family because he grew up really poor. They were pinching pennies. They really didn't have much growing up. And then my mom's family, who had more money, they would probably be considered middle class back then. My grandfather had a successful dry cleaning business. They did very well for themselves. And so in my mind as a child, it was like, oh, I have a poor side and a rich side, you know. But really, my poverty consciousness lied in both sides of my family, just deeper in my dad's side than my mom. But because my grandparents on my mom's side had money, I saw different things than on my father's side. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because I have a belief that I have to work hard for my money. Drop a comment below if you resonate with that. And I've had this belief my whole life because I saw my grandfather on my mom's side work really hard for his money, and I saw my dad as I grew up working super hard for his money. And both my parents at times had worked multiple jobs or had been working the whole time when we were younger just to be able to provide. And I chose to experience that because I also know that I chose to come into experience the opposite. Because I really remember at a very young age, like around the age of 6 or 7, I was playing Barbies. I had my Barbie house. I had Ken and Barbie in the car with the kids and the horse and like all that kind of stuff. And I was really calling out to the universe what it was that I felt I wanted to experience. You know, for me, I wanted to experience that magical romance. You know, like I knew in my heart and in my soul that I would have only one true love and I would get married once. And when I say one true love, it's like with my heart and my soul, not with my mind as I loved others. But I also knew too that everything that I was experiencing as a child, my children wouldn't experience that because I was here to break those experiences and what we know as generational curses or limiting beliefs or conditioning. I was here to break all of that. And I also knew too that I wanted to be able to work from home and do something where I never had to miss out on experiences with my children. You know, I wanted to be there for them when they needed me for homework or with their activities, be able to pick them up from school, drop them off, all that kind of stuff. And I also knew too that I would be very successful at what it was that I did. However, I never really knew what that was until I got older. And I share this with you because in my life when I was younger, I saw money come into my house and then I saw it leave really quickly. And then we would sit around and wait for more money to come, especially when we were really poor because my mom was waiting on checks from the government and also to food stamps and then from her work. But it would go really fast. And I was like, oh my God, where'd all the money go? And there would be times that we didn't have money to pay for groceries, or she was struggling to pay for our electric bill. And these are all things that I also struggled with in life because it's all that I knew. I didn't know anything different. And I know some people along my journey would tell me, be like, well, there's so many other resources out there to help you. And yes, there is. Like, there's a tons of books to help you, guide you in terms of doing what you need to do to create financial stability. But here's the caveat: is a lot of these books don't ask for you to dive within, to do the inner work, to do the energy clearing, to reset your central nervous system, to expand your energetic reservoir to be able to receive this amount of money. Because here's the thing: you could receive, $1 million and think, oh, I'm going to do all this, and this with it and change your life. Most likely, if you don't have the energetic reservoir to receive that and retain that and make the best decisions with it, you're going to blow it and be worse off than where you were when you started. And we've seen that time and time again with these individuals that win the lottery. And so for me, I also believe that money wasn't like this constant stream. It wasn't this flow, like this constantly coming in. And I see that today, even in my reality, in terms of what I do for my current work as I'm building my business. It's like a little bit comes in and then nothing, a lot comes in and then nothing. But I also have to wait twice a month in order to get the money that I make during my shift. And so I'm been conditioned to believe I can either receive money once a month through work that I've done, every week through work that I've done, and then also to every or twice a month. There have been even serving jobs that I've done where I got to receive money every day. And that was really cool too, to be able to see and experience and look back. But even within receiving tips every day, the amount and and how sporadic it was still that kind of like that on and off, like push and pull with money, push and pull, like this constant, I go work hard for it, I get it, and then, I do nothing. And the message that I received today was very different because there's almost like a point in time where we cross, for lack of better words, like a threshold, where we decide that we are going to let go of our old life, because nothing wrong with our old life. Our old life helped us get to where we are today, and we have to really be grateful for it, accept those parts of us, integrate it into our life, and allow ourselves to become the abundant beings that we're here to be. And it's almost like once you cross that threshold of like, okay, I'm no longer going to live from this way, from this energy, from these thought process, from these beliefs, and I'm really going to start embracing the abundant life. And I'm going to start seeing the value and the worth that I bring to this planet by just being me, then everything is going to start to change for you. And quite honestly, it scares me. And I'm like in this space right now where I am being called to expand in a really big way. I'm being called to walk away from people, places, and situations that no longer see my value and my worth. And for me to really expand how I see myself and to see myself the way that others see me. Because in your life, you'll have people that will never see your value. And I have these people at my job, and that's okay. Like, I don't need to allow that to impact me, but I also don't want to be around it. And then also too, there's people that see my value and my worth just for me being me. I don't need to say anything. I don't need to do anything differently, just by me being me. I've had people come into my life who love me for me without barely knowing anything about me. And it's a reflection of that love that I have for myself, and to be able to tap into that love, that unconditional love for yourself, that knowing that you are abundant and seeing your worth and your value. And I know some of you, and myself included at times, struggled with being able to see my worth and value. And it's taken me a lot of inner work. And I'm sure at some point in time along the way, I'll probably create some content, start creating content around this, start creating content around poverty consciousness, all that kind of stuff, to be able to really help you step into this. But one of the things that has kept me from crossing this threshold into this new life is these glimpses that I've gotten along the way. This knowing that I've had ever since my awakening. And so I started my awakening like 6 years ago around this time. About 6 years ago around this time. At the time when I was awakening, I had no idea what was going on. I didn't know I was awakening. I just knew the person that I was. I didn't like her anymore. I didn't want to play along with the constructs that society had told me I needed to do. And I wanted to really step into the free spirit that I am. I wanted to really start experiencing life to the fullest and really start creating my own happiness. And it wasn't until I was talking to a friend at the time, and she was like, oh, this is what's happening to you. And I was like, what? I had no idea. And honestly, it's probably the best way to be able to experience things, because I was listening to my intuition and I was feeling the presence of God and just really feeling guided that way, along with receiving some guidance from a friend of mine who is very, very intuitive and is an incredible tarot reader. And I would get some guidance from him to help me. And it was just like confirmation of what it was that I knew I needed to be doing. But it's between then and now that I would get these glimpses of things that would be happening in my life. It was just like a snapshot, like a picture. Like God and the universe had taken a picture of myself on another timeline or down the road on my timeline and say, this is what's going to happen. And I would get emotional about it. I would cry. I would get so excited. And honestly, sometimes those glimpses would terrify me because I didn't know how I was going to create this. I didn't know how I was going to get there. But it also gave me excitement. It gave me excitement in terms of to continue down this path. It gave me excitement in learning that I could trust my intuition, because these glimpses that I had received were actually some similar things that I had received when I was a child and things that I knew. And so if you're getting these glimpses, utilize them as like fuel to your fire to continue down this path, because I know when you're healing, I know when you're awakening that it is really hard. There are times that you're on the floor crying, or maybe you can't even get out of bed. You're exhausted from adrenal fatigue like myself, from all the stress that you've experienced. You're lonely because, you've lost all your friends and you're at that phase where you're, trying to make new friends, but you're not quite ready for them. I mean, I get it. And so utilize these glimpses to continue helping you go down this path. But here's the thing that I want you to do is not to attach to them. Because when we attach to these glimpses, it's out of fear. It's out of like, I need to control this in order to get there. But to utilize it as that inspiration to continue down this path and just allow God and the universe and spirit to guide you and to allow you to navigate through life in the way that you are meant to, which is in for your highest good. And so I would say probably about 5 years ago, I had this knowing that once I crossed this threshold into this new life over here where I've never experienced before in this life, that my reality would start to change rather quick. And I've had this intense feeling since I moved into my apartment almost like 3 months ago. I can't believe it's been like 3 months already. But it's through these glimpses and through these knowings that I knew once I crossed this threshold that the abundance and the blessings would start to flow into my life. The things that I had known that were my destiny would start to come in. And they already are, because this apartment is part of that. This apartment is part of it. Everything that I have in it is part of it, because I'm creating a new reality from a new energy in which I've never created before. And it can be terrifying because there's this part of me that wonders, am I going to go back to my old ways, or I wonder, like, how hard am I going to have to work to maintain this? But here's the thing, is today when I was walking around the lake, I live in an incredible part of Minneapolis where I have the ability to walk around like 3 different lakes. I can bike ride to places. It's like I am connected to nature while in the city. So for me, it's a beautiful balance between the masculine and feminine within me, but also too within in the world. And right now where I'm at in my journey, it's like I have a hard time understanding that there's this flow with money. Like, I get it conceptually, but I don't know how to create it in my reality where there's a constant flow of blessings, abundance, and I don't have to worry about it. And there's this part of me that's like, oh my gosh, once I cross this threshold, they're going to keep coming in and I'm not going to know what to do with them. It's going to be so overwhelming. And I remember the universe doesn't work that way, because in an Abraham Hicks video, Abraham talks about how, with your blessings and your abundance, why would they come all at once? It would be like eating all of the buffet at one time and being really full and then having nothing, right? Because our mind thinks, and we've been shown that it's like we feast or we famine. We feast and then we famine. But the universe doesn't work that way. Once you allow yourself to be open to receiving and allowing these blessings to come in, they just keep coming in and coming in and coming in and coming in. And the way that the universe showed me this today was really incredible, because I was on the south side of the lake, which happens to be in the path, probably like the path, I can't think of the exact terminology, where the flight patterns, where airplanes come in to go to the airport. And I remember seeing one, it was coming in really low. It's what got my attention. And I was like, wow, this one's coming in really low. And I was looking at it, I was looking up, and I noticed that the landing gear was already down, and the plane was really starting to slow down. That plane passed. Oh, I just have 444 on my phone when I looked at it. And then not even 2 minutes later, another plane coming in. That one passed. 2 minutes later, another one coming in. And they just kept coming in, and they were perfectly spaced, perfectly aligned. And I was like, that's really cool. That's really interesting. And no doubt, no joke, for 10 minutes I sat there and watched all these planes come in, one right after another. None of them are worried about crashing, where do they go? None of them are worried about hitting another plane, because here's why. They have air traffic controllers directing them to where they need to go, which is to the airport. Once they get to the airport, those air traffic controllers are still guiding them to where they need to go in order to bring that plane to the terminal. People get out, they go get their luggage, and then they're on their way. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is because I was told that this is exactly how blessings come into your life. The planes are blessings. The air traffic controllers that are organizing and orchestrating everything are God, universe, and source energy. And so it's these blessings are coming in, and Gus is organizing them and orchestrating them to come in at the most perfect time. It's coming in perfect. There's no rush. They're not late. They're right on time. And we don't have to do anything but to follow our guidance, like a pilot. The pilot is following their guidance in terms of where it is that they're supposed to fly this plane. They have assistance, and we do too. We have our spirit guides above and our higher self that are wanting to guide us, to help us down this path, so we don't have to work as hard. And when we do work, it's under that inspired action. It's under the guidance of our higher selves and our guides in order to help us fly our plane to where we need to go. And that plane is directly directed by God and the universe. And it knows exactly when to come in and where to go. And those blessings are the airplanes. And as I was walking around the lake, I kept giggling because I kept hearing the planes behind me coming in, one right after another. And it didn't matter where I was, that I could hear them. And I know some of you are like me. And one of the things I was worried about was like, oh my gosh, I don't have the processes and places, or the processes and the procedures in place in order for all this stuff to happen. Here's the thing. You may have already started doing that work. For me, it's about organizing my money. It's about saving part of my money. It's about being responsible in terms of when to pay my bills, how much to pay, like budgeting for food, budgeting for this, budgeting for that, because right now I don't have the huge abundance where I could just spend without budgeting. You know, like that's my goal one day, is to be able to create enough abundance where I never have to do that. You know, like there's always just money there. And that's the thing that God and the universe are trying to get me to see. There's money always there. There's blessings that are out there. Like they're just waiting to come in. It's like we need to be able to cross that threshold and let go of the things that are no longer serving us. Those things that are weighing us down energetically, those thoughts and belief patterns that are preventing these blessings from coming in. And, you know, so if you're not feeling comfortable about where you are with certain things in order to receive the blessings that you have, maybe it's a relationship. Like I think about that too. Like, you know, the relationship coming in, like I don't, like my mind is like, oh, I'm not ready for it. But when I like tap into my soul, tap into my heart, tap into my knowing, I am, because I can see how I've changed. I can see what I need to do differently. I can hold space for others to show up vulnerably, and I can communicate my boundaries, all this stuff. And so it's really also too, like what I'm hearing is like, if this is resonating with you and you can relate, it's like have trust in yourself, have faith that you have done enough work, meaning enough of the inner work, enough of the struggle, enough of all the stuff that you've been conditioned to do, and let go and start embodying who it is that you are meant to be, which is an abundant being, and to really start seeing your value and your worth, because those blessings want to come in and they want to continue to come in because you have done the work. You have the process and processes and procedures in place for you to be successful. If not, here's the thing that I'm hearing is those blessings are still going to come in because you have the ability to do things differently, because you're really mindful, you're present, you can see those things, and you can make those shifts in your physical reality in order for you to continue receiving those blessings, because they're all around you. They're all around each and every one of us. They're waiting to come in. And I know some of you might be thinking like, well, what do I do? What do I do? You know, and the things that are coming to my mind right now is first identify what are those blessings? You know, is it financial abundance? Is it to be able to have financial freedom like you've never had before? You need to start diving into your beliefs around money. You need to start looking into your self-worth and start identifying where are you at in terms of your self-worth, and how much do you believe in what it is that you bring to the table, how much do you believe in yourself. Start working on those things and start aligning to what it is that you're meant to do here in this life. Maybe you're at a job that you don't care for, and maybe you're outgrowing that job. Well, you need to start taking steps and actions to be able to help you get to where it is that you need to go long term. And put in some of the work, because you do need to be able to put in some of the work. You know, for those of us that are really called to step into our mission work in this life, if you're like me, you might be working another job to help you afford the life that you have while you're building what brings you passion, what brings you purpose in this life. So then one day you can eventually leave that and step fully into this. And it takes some identifying of things. Like start with like your limiting beliefs. Write down your limiting beliefs that you have and start looking at where did this come from, and do the inner work to let that go. Do the reprogramming in terms of being able to have a new belief system. What is your soul telling you? What is your heart telling you? And allow these blessings to come in. And I know whatever I'm saying, I need to listen to myself as well. And for some of us, and this is for me as well, is we need to rest more. We need to rest, and we need to just be able to be and to really embody that feminine energy. Because like right now, like if as I'm talking, I'm taking action, so I'm a little bit more forward as I speak. That's more masculine energy. The feminine energy sits back. She allows, she receives, and she knows that she has done enough of the work. And the work that she has done has been that inspired action. And so then she can allow herself to rest, but also to enjoy life, because it's through the enjoyment that we have of life that we'll allow these blessings to come in as well. And so my friends, I would love to hear what you have to say. What are you thinking about this? Is this something that resonated with you? Can you relate to anything that I shared with you today? I also love to hear about what it is that you're afraid of, like what old part of you do you need to leave behind so you can cross that threshold and really start living and embodying this life, this abundant life, this life that you were meant to experience and live. And so drop a comment below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up and share it with those that are surrounding you that this might resonate or help with. And then if you're wanting to dive more into this work together, excuse me, I do offer a one-on-one coaching. I offer one-on-one coaching and one-on-one healing sessions. And if that's something that you're interested in, you can send me an email. I'll leave my email down below in the description box, or connect with me on Instagram and send me a DM on there. My friends, I look forward to connecting with you in another video. And until next time, I'm sending you all so much love and light.